Greetings, this is Doc Ock coming at you live and direct from Black Facts Headquarters Central this evening. So glad to be with you here one more time with another rhyme. All right, so let me not forget to mention what always needs to be mentioned, which is, if you haven't already, give us a like or a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. And go ahead and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube as well to the Tubular Black Facts channel. Become part of our family. Come on in, the water's warm. You might as well, it won't do you no harm. Oh, and I see that I have left something behind. Well, let's see. Need a proverb for today. Let's see if I've got one here. Okay, got a proverb for today. Proverb for today is Pamoja tutashinda bila shaka. Together we will win. Pamoja tutashinda bila shaka. Together we will win. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be winning with my girl here, Ona Judge, reading her some more of her story from the book Never Caught, the story of Ona Judge. The story of Ona Judge. And we're reading chapter 18, which is very aptly entitled New Hampshire, Live Free or Die. Very aptly titled, Live Free or Die. On May 23rd, 1796, the Philadelphia Gazette published an advertisement. The next day, a second Philadelphia newspaper, Claypool's American Daily Advertiser, published the very same ad. $10 reward, $10. It's a lot of money back then. $10 reward, the headline exclaimed, and it was followed by a description of none other than Ona Judge, absconded from the household of the President of the United States of America. On Saturday afternoon, Ona Judge, a light mulatto girl, much freckled, with very black eyes and bushy black hair. She's of middle stature, but slender and delicately made, about 20 years of age. She has many changes of very good clothes of all sorts, but they are not sufficiently recollected to describe. Unfortunately, we just can't remember what they look like because we always try to make sure she was invisible. As there was no suspicion of her going off, and it happened without the least provocation, it is not easy to conjecture whither she has gone, or fully what her design actually was. But as she may attempt to escape by water, all masters of vessels and others are cautioned against receiving her on board, although she may and probably will endeavor to pass for a free woman. And it is said, has wherewithal to pay her passage. She must have been doing some freelancing on the side. $10 will be paid to any person, white or black, who will bring her home. Please bring back our doggie. If taken in the city or on board any vessel in the harbor, and a further reasonable sum if apprehended and brought home from a greater distance, and in proportion to the distance. May 24, Fred Kitt, Stewart. Descriptions of runaway slaves ran in newspapers all the time, but this advertisement was shocking because it announced that an enslaved woman had absconded from the President of the United States? What? Unbelievable. Why would she do that? She had it so good there. None of her holidays off? Yeah. No one knows exactly when Martha or George realized that Ona was missing. It probably was the night she left or the next morning. Had Martha been waiting for Ona to brush her hair? Had George been expecting Ona to carry Martha's bag down the stairs? Oni! We can hear them call, Oni, where you be? No answer. Martha may not have worried until a few minutes turned into 10, then into 20. Could she? Would she? How dare she? Forget about the impoliteness of now not having a gift for her granddaughter or for her niece. I think it's her niece, Eliza. Now Martha felt as if Ona Judge had humiliated her in public. George must have had to listen to Martha's cries about Ona's ingratitude. The girl was brought up and treated more like a family member than a servant, he later wrote. By the time they calmed down and devised a plan, Ona had a big head start. By now, she would have learned that she was on her way to a state way up in the north, Tobias Lear's home state of New Hampshire. Ona may have remembered this, just as she may have remembered that she had met a member of probably the most respected family in New Hampshire, Senator John Langdon. Ona would certainly have remembered Senator Langdon's daughter, Elizabeth, who was the same age as Nellie, Martha's granddaughter, and whom Ona might have watched when the Langdon family had visited Philly. Like the rest of the northern states, New Hampshire was moving fitfully toward abolition, but they weren't quite there yet. On the plus side, the state's Bill of Rights specified that every citizen of New Hampshire was promised equality and liberty. On the minus side, slavery had been legal since the colony had first been established in 1641. In the 1780s, when Ona had first moved north, New Hampshire had finally begun to make progress toward outlawing slavery. But it wasn't until 1857 that the state outlawed it altogether. Lucky for Ona, she was arriving in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, a town that would declare itself free from slavery in 1805, 52 years earlier than the state itself. When the Nancy tied up against the wooden dock, Ona would have probably left the ship as quickly as she could, her eyes scanning the passengers to see if anyone sparked any kind of recognition. Her first priority was to find a place to live. No easy task for a single black woman with very little money, but the network of free black allies had worked. People were expecting her. Someone, we don't know who, met her at the dock. She was soon directed to her temporary home with a free black family. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Philadelphia and Portsmouth had two things in common. They both had big shipyards, and they were both ahead of the curve with respect to slavery. Other than that, they were vastly different. Portsmouth was tiny, with only about 5,000 residents, and there were fewer black people in the entire city of Portsmouth than there were slaves living at Mount Vernon. The only benefit to this was that Ona would soon grow to know the majority of the black community. But she didn't have time yet to meet people. Her number one priority was to get herself a job. She'd been sewing all her life and had designed and stitched together some of Martha's beautiful gowns. In today's world, she might have been a fashion designer. Without letters of recommendation vouching for her actual expertise, Ona had to tell potential employers that she was fit for all kinds of domestic work. Ona was smart, quick-witted, and nimble, but she was not prepared for all kinds of work. She had to learn fast. Besides doing laundry and housekeeping, Ona would have to pick up cooking skills. Perhaps in a household other than the Washingtons, Ona would have learned how to cook, But with Hercules around, an all-American Negro celebrity chef, shoot, she stayed away from the kitchen, so cooking was something she'd have to learn on the fly. All houses needed someone who knew how to prepare the basic meals for a family. Further, in Portsmouth, a domestic servant was expected to do all domestic work, carry heavy cauldrons of water, sew dresses, make dinner, take out the slop jars, all that kind of stuff. Once again, it appears that owners, black allies in Portsmouth, stepped in. They likely spent time teaching her what she would have to do. Then they got her a job. Two facts stand out. Ooh, sorry. One, the majority of black women in New England at the time did not live beyond the age of 40. And number two, the majority of black women in New England were employed as domestic workers. Those two seem to go together like bread and butter. There was a connection between the two. The domestic work was nonstop and grueling, but Ona got paid. From the outside, if you didn't know her past, you would think she was just a free black woman working hard to get a small but appreciated and deserved salary. It would be fair to assume that she was overworked and underpaid, which she certainly was, but it would also be fair to assume that all the work and all the pay was worth it to Ona because of the basic fact that she was living the way she, not Martha, not George, chose to live. She was still scared. She knew that the Washingtons would soon be on her trail. So Ona, as she always did, kept quiet and listened. Portsmouth was not perfect, and neither was New Hampshire. But people like John Bowles and her new free black friends had convinced her that her relocation to Portsmouth was very strategic and potentially rewarding. She never stopped looking over her shoulder for slave catchers, but for the first time since she had heard that she would be given away as a freaking wedding gift, she let herself take a deep breath and just simply hope. Yep, that's what she did. She just took a deep breath and crossed her fingers. Because you never know when them patty rollers are going to roll up on you, or slave catchers, or whomsoever. But you know one thing, you don't want to be caught, and you certainly don't want to be caught by surprise. So that's our story for tonight. We're going to close out here. We got some things to do to get ready for tomorrow. We got a big day tomorrow. We'll still be having our story at our regular time, but we will also be participating in a conference that's online. It's called We Can't Breathe. So go look that up online. You'll find it on my Center Pan-African Culture Facebook group. You find it in that group, and you may find it on my homepage also. And in the meanwhile, all you little children, you know what time it is. It's time to take your little head and put it on your little pillow, on your little bed. Close those eyes and wait for that big old sun to rise. And when you feel those sunbeams beaming down on your eyes, you know then it's time for you to rise and shine, oh children of mine. And until then, just rest easy, because I'm about to get breezy up in here. And for all you adults, you know what to do as well. Give us the like, the thumbs up, and go ahead and subscribe to the Tubular Black Facts channel. And if you would, we do appreciate all your donations. We're just starting to get donations in now from February. So regular donations, recurring donations are much more appreciated than just a one-time donation, because we need monies coming in on a regular basis so we can keep this vibration going. We told you in the beginning, our goal was to share some of the knowledge that you can't get in college that's up in here in these Crosby archives. And that's what we've been doing. We've been doing it for a little bit over a year, and we like to keep on doing it. So you got a donation button down there too. You can hit that too while you're hitting buttons. Meanwhile, peace out without a doubt, along with some justice, because peace without justice disgusts us. Good night. Tuta Nana.